Hello and welcome to the Pitt Show on DK Pittsburgh Sports Radio. I'm Matt Grubba, the new Pitt guy here at DK Pittsburgh Sports. Happy to be joining you. Got a lot of things to talk about with Pitt. First and foremost on everyone's mind, the coaching search. So before we talk about that, just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Bazzi, Vreeland & Associates. They're the exclusive sponsor for coverage of Pitt athletics at DKPittsburghSports.com and DK Radio. With several Pitt alums, homegrown Pittsburgh attorneys, and deep roots in the communities of southwestern Pennsylvania, the attorneys at Bazzi, Vreeland & Associates are proud to bring quality coverage of Pitt athletics from the top independent sports website in Pittsburgh. And, yeah, I've really been thrown in a busy time for Pitt coverage here, not only with spring football that started last week. This coaching search, news yesterday that Dan Hurley was choosing not to come to Pitt. He's instead going to UConn. The Rhode Island coach was the number one target of the Panthers, and an offer of over $3 million annually. Pitt really rolled out the red carpet, tried to get him, but he's a Northeast guy. You know, wanting to go to that UConn job was close to his heart, and you can't blame him necessarily. That's a program that's won 4 national championships, but for Pitt, that's the angle we want to look at. Where do they go next? And there's been a lot of speculation now. A meeting reported yesterday that's going to be going on today, on Friday, for the athletic director and her staff and just the moneymaker people at Pitt. What are they going to do from here? And the big question is sort of what route do they go? Do you want to go with a young, inexperienced coach, maybe somebody who wants to set down roots in Pittsburgh, really build up a program of their own? Or because of what may be a very, very tattered roster coming in, do you want a veteran guy that maybe can bounce back quickly in the ACC? That's probably going to be the main topic of discussion in the meeting going on in the athletic department today. And the good thing for the Panthers is there are decent options going both of those avenues. And, a name that's become very popular since March Madness began, since the first-round upset, Buffalo coach Nate Oates. He's only 43 years old. That's a guy that, some fans really like, especially because the team his Buffalo team upset was Arizona, and Pitt guy Sean Miller as the head coach. And they just really shellacked them 89-68 in the first round. Quite an impression he left, but there's some drawbacks to Oates. He's only had 3 years as a head coach. So do you want to turn over an ACC program to a guy with that little coaching experience? Well, if that is the drawback, you have a more veteran guy out in Washington, Mike Hopkins. He's a former Syracuse assistant under Jim Boeheim, so he's familiar with the ACC. Actually hasn't had that much more head coaching experience than Oates, but he's been around the college game longer. Just really could be a guy that if they want maybe a more safe veteran presence and one familiar with the Northeast, which I know is very important. If you look at recent Pitt history, their recruiting, when they've been at their best, they've been able to get kids, the Brandon Knights, the Trey Woodalls, out of the New York, New Jersey scene. You get Brad Wanamaker was a guy from Philly. Being able to recruit the Northeast has been so important to Pitt's program when they've had success, and a coach like Hopkins could fit that bill. So you've got that. I threw out in my reporting for the website another name that when they look at young guys could be out there. David Padgett, recently let go by Louisville. He was the interim coach there when Rick Pitino was fired in scandal and whatnot. Padgett had played for Pitino at Louisville but came onto the coaching staff after all the allegations had the events that led to all the allegations came about. So clean in that sense. But again, another young guy, did pretty well with the Cardinals in his 1 year in charge, but he's never been out on the recruiting trail as a head guy. That's another big question mark. Do you want to turn fully the reins over of an ACC program, the best conference in America, to a guy that inexperienced? These are all decisions facing Pitt, and the more time that elapses, the more the pressure is going to ratchet up on trying to get a higher end to start rebuilding the roster, to try to retain players from last year's team that they've asked for their release, but they could always stay. So clock ticking on Pitt. Today's meeting really could indicate where the direction they're going to go is, whether it's going to be young guy, veteran guy. So I'm very curious to see what they do. My personal opinion, I kind of like the idea at this point of going with the young guy and let him make something his own. I think the enthusiasm a young coach brings in might actually be what appeals to young college athletes to want to keep them around the Panthers program. That's just how I see it. I think the veteran coach is the safe move, but if you're thinking long-term success at Pitt, you've got to want somebody that's going to come in, stay a long time, and build something of their own, just like, even though Ben Howland only ended up staying 5 years, he really started to build something, and then it was turned over to Jamie Dixon, sort of making it a continuation of that same coaching staff for a good 15-year run that, without a doubt, has been the best run in Pitt basketball history. Is it time to turn the page completely? If they want to build up for another run like that, I think it might be. But we shall see how that goes with the coaching search. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to talk about Pitt football, spring practice going on, and another program coming off a down season, but optimism pretty high on the south side with spring practices going on.
Injured in an accident? Need assistance in preserving your business's interests? Let the attorneys at Bassey, Vreeland & Associates protect your legal rights. For over 65 years, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates has been representing the citizens and businesses of southwestern Pennsylvania. With offices strategically located in Washington and Charleroi, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can deliver results for you throughout the Pittsburgh area. Visit www.bmvlaw.com or call 724-228-7000 to see how Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can meet your legal needs. Bassey, Vreeland & Associates. We fight, we care, we win.
It's time to cash in on non-stop sports action with MyBookie.ag. They have in-game live betting on nearly every sporting event, plus MyBookie.ag will match your deposit with a bonus up to 100%. With decades of expertise and no-hassle payouts, you'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code DKRadio to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-BETS or visit mybookie.ag to open an account. Sign up today.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts.
Who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues. With the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit schneiderdowns.com.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this amazing new website, stepoutside.org. Hi, I'm Dan Kovacevic of DK Sports Radio. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. I know about the outdoor life that's available to all of us in Western Pennsylvania. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, hunting, take part in power sports, shooting sports, water sports in your local community, across our region, across the country at stepoutside.org.
In Pittsburgh, we bleed black and gold and love our city. Born in Pittsburgh and now celebrating 130 years in business, Henny Jewelers is proud to be your premier jewelry store. Whether it's choosing that watch you've always wanted or you're searching for the ring that was made for her, trust Henny Jewelers. Visit our store on Walnut Street in Shadyside to see our extensive inventory of designer engagement rings, watches, and one-of-a-kind jewelry. For more, go to hennyjewelers.com and follow on social.
Embarrassed by that stained carpet in your office? Tired of looking at your dull, dirty floor? My Floor Needs is here to fix that. With years of experience and 24/7 service, My Floor Needs offers stripping and waxing, carpet, tile, grout, and concrete cleaning, as well as polishing and buffing services. Call 888-67-MY-FLOOR or email info@myfloorneeds.com for a free estimate and get your floors looking like new again. Whatever your floor needs, call 888-67-MY-FLOOR.
Does your company ever miss its sales goals or struggle getting new business?
Is it tough to hire or to give reps the right tools?
Hi, I'm Dan, and I started Engaged Prospect right here in Pittsburgh to help companies like yours.
And I'm Sam. We're helping companies hit sales goals and grow their businesses.
Think of us as your inside sales team.
Our clients are experts in their fields. We're experts in inside sales.
Give us a call today at 412-715-5151.
Or visit us online at engagedprospect.com/DK.
It's been 50 years since the Summer of Love, but if you're not performing as well as you'd like, check out NEDforless.com. I'm Eric Cushy of Curtis Pharmacy. Don't pay premium prices for the little blue pill. So Denafil, the same active ingredient as in Viagra, costs 80% less. NEDforless.com. All we need is your physician's name. We do the rest. Free shipping, too. NDDforless.com. Curtis Pharmacy, Western PA's Better Way Pharmacy. CurtisPharmacy.com.
Welcome back to the Pitt Show on DK Sports Radio. I'm Matt Grubba, your Pitt basketball, football, and all things Pitt reporter here at the website, dkpittsburghsports.com. Want to talk some about Pitt spring football in its second week now. Actually, a close to the media session coming up tomorrow, Saturday. That's going to be a little scrimmage session, so we won't know until next week exactly how that works out. But we've seen a lot of good things from the Panthers, and coming off a 5-7 season last year, a highly motivated group too, and that's been one thing that I think is really been understated with this Pitt camp. Is a lot of the players talk about that 5-7 and not going to a bowl game last year, and sometimes you hear, oh, these players are just trying to get to the NFL, or they don't care, they're getting a free education. It's like these guys really care, and they are motivated by this. They just it is burning at them that Pitt wasn't in a bowl game, and they want to be the reason Pitt is in a bowl game this year coming up. And when the first place you look at that Pitt needs to really shore up to get there is their defense, and specifically their secondary. Last year and the year before, I mean, they've given up some gaudy numbers. You can think back last year, Oklahoma State just torching them. Even going back 2 years, a game they won, but giving up so many points in that absolute shootout against Syracuse. It's been the secondary that's let Pitt down, and that's been an area of a lot of focus. And so this year, the Panthers, a new defensive coordinator, Randy Bates, new secondary coach in Archie Collins, new safeties coach, Corey Sanders, which this is the first year they've had a dedicated safeties coach. Last year, that position was coached by the defensive coordinator. So really a focus on turning over a new leaf there, and they've got athletic young players capable of doing it. And that's where you start out with the returners. Dane Jackson at one corner. You have DeMar Hamlin's the returning free safety. A lot of hype about Paris Ford, another local kid. All three of those guys, WPIL products, local Pittsburgh kids. Paris Ford, he's been moved from safety to corner. It's sort of a surprising move, but if you listen to a lot of people, DeMar Hamlin said Ford is the most athletic guy in their secondary. He said that after practice Thursday, which surprised me because you don't often hear guys admit that, I'm the best guy is what you usually hear from them. So to say that really, shows what people think of Paris Ford. There's other players back there. Jason Pinnock got a lot of experience last year. He's a sophomore at one corner position. That group, you can just see them growing in confidence. And you talk to Coach Archie Collins, the new secondary coach. He's a big believer in, a secondary that ball hawks, goes after it, just really makes big plays. And I think he has the guys buying into his mindset that they're going to be a big play secondary. Now, that is all fine and good, but they also need to play sound defense and stop giving up the huge chunks of yardage that have really hurt them the last 2 years. That's always a Pat Narduzzi staple, that he wants those sound defensive fronts to stop the run game, but then stopping the run doesn't do any good if teams can just go over top on you. So it's really a work in progress, but you can see where these guys are buying into the system of the new coaches, a lot of enthusiasm, and when it comes down to it, it's spring football. They're buying into it now is good, but what happens in the fall is still a long way away, so there's developments to be made. no doubt. There's still position changes that could happen. Coach Bates, the defensive coordinator, said as much on the second day of practice, that they're going to see what they have, and if they think people are going to move around, they're going to do it, because their goal, and this has been across the staff, is to get the best 11 players on the field, and that's whether it's moving a linebacker to safety, a safety to corner, moving pieces around. The defense, they know, is what needs to improve to really get them where they want to go. Offensively, Kenny Pickett, what a dream start. Your first start as a college quarterback. You beat the number 2 team in the country, Miami, to end last year. He's another guy. He's getting a full year, going in as the starter. He's going to come in with confidence. The offense will need time to grow, no doubt. He's able to lean on 2 veteran backs, Quadriolis and Darren Hall in the backfield. George Aston, the fullback, is sort of working his way in. So you see positive signs, and if you're a Pitt fan, that is really all you can cling to in spring football, because they're still playing against one another. You've got the spring game coming up on April 14th. That's going to be the first chance for the public to really see how they're going to stack up. So far, Coach Narduzzi, as often is the case, gives the edge to the defense, just because when you're putting in offenses a little more complex, a little more technical. But right now, it's shaping up like it's a new start for Pitt. And I think that's what, Coach Narduzzi, this is his 4th year, so it's really his team now, no longer players from a previous coach. If this is a new start for Pitt, it could be the start of a good one, and there's young local players, a lot of them, that I think the Pittsburgh community, not just the Pitt community, will be able to get behind. So it could be an exciting year for Pitt football, but again, it's spring. That's just going to be my underlying theme to everything I've said, but that is really hitting on just about everything we can here for the Pitt Show today. Thanks to everyone for listening on DK Sports Radio. Thanks also to Bazzi Vreeland and Associates, our sponsor for our Pitt coverage here at DKPittsburghSports.com. I am Matt Grubba. Thank you for listening, and we will catch up with you soon here at the Pitt Show.